Welcome to America Reads Fun Learning Activities. We are college students who create fun learning activities for kids. Thank you for joining us to learn today. Our activities are focused on reading, writing, and math. Today's activity is on hearing, and to help us out today we have myself and a future Sun Devil. In the science behind how outside noise creates into sound, let me explain how the human ear works. I like to imagine that these sounds, words, and noises we hear in our everyday lives are going to have to make a long but quick go-kart race, just like playing Mario Karts. Sound has to race and pass through three different sections, the first being your outer ear, second being your middle ear, and the third being your inner ear. While having a conversation with your friends, for example, this sound will travel to the inside part of your ear first, and this is called the external auditory canal. After that sound wave passes through the canal, then it reaches the eardrum, which is a thin sheet of connective tissue that vibrates when sound waves strike it. Then the next lap for the sound wave to pass through is called the auditory ossicles, which are basically like three tiny little bones inside your ear which vibrate. Finally, we have the final lap for the sound wave to push through, the cochlea this is called. This spiral organ receives the vibrations of those sound waves, and then there's these tiny cells that literally look like strands of hair, which will basically translate those vibrations into electrical impulses. This is where those electrical impulses will travel all the way up to the brain. What do you have as the final result? Words! So this is how you're able to understand your conversation with your friends, and that is how hearing works. Hey you guys, so the activity for today, the materials that we're going to be using are scissors, cups, some straws, and tape. Obviously, if you guys don't have some tape, you can always use some paper clips. If you have some, make sure you use two because you're going to be using two pairs of cups. And if you guys don't have some straws available at your home, you may use this and substitute it for some yarn if you do have some, okay? And make sure that the yarn is long enough. But for today, these are the materials that we're going to be using for today's activity. Okay you guys, so the way that this procedure is going to take place is you're going to want to take your two cups that you have. And this can be any sort of cup that you have available at your home. It can be plastic, paper, whichever cup that's you can just easily throw away after the end of this activity, you may use. And today we're going to be using these two cute looking pink plastic cups. And what you're going to want to do first with your pair of scissors is you want to cut a hole open, at least that's big enough for those paper or plastic straws can fit through, just a hole that's big enough for those straws to pass through each one, okay? And it's going to be one little tiny hole here in this cup and then another tiny little hole in your second cup, okay? And the way that's going to turn out is it's going to look something like this. So you're going to want to start off with, depending how long you want your telephone pole to be, at least start off with three different straws. So as you can see, we have a purple straw, a green straw, and a red straw. And what you're going to want to do is with each straw, as you can see, they sort of overlap here, and this is going to take a little bit of time, but what you want to do is you're going to want to put each straw within each other so that way you can sort of connect them and it can become a long telephone pole. So as you can see, they also pass through that tiny little hole that I mentioned earlier. That little tiny hole, you want to make sure it's big enough for those straws to pass through. And remember that when you're performing part of the activity, when you're cutting a hole open in each cup, you want to make sure there's an adult to supervise you, or even better, have that adult perform that part of the activity for you, okay? But this is the turnout of this activity. Okay you guys, so what you're going to want to do in this part is after you have completed in creating your telephone, what you want to do is now find a partner and play out the activity with them. So one of the partners is going to whisper a word through the cup, which is your telephone, and supposedly you're supposed to hear that specific word travel across the straw into the other phone, which your partner is going to listen intently and try to hear that specific word that you mentioned. And then once they hear that word or what they believe that word is to be, they're going to want to whisper it back into the phone. And that's going to be your game of telephone. Okay you guys, whisper something. Thank you for learning with us today. We hope you come back and learn some more with America Reads. Please comment below if you have any questions, like and subscribe to our channel, and we will be back with more videos. Bye!